Welcome to More Than No podcast. I am your host, Josh Morin. I have a special guest with me, one of my best friends and business partners, Chris Nishoff. Thank you for being here, my man.
Hey, what's going on, dude?
Before we get into today's podcast, I want to give a special shout out to Trials and Tribulations, Matt Quigley. He has a fall drop coming very, very soon. So be sure to check out the links below, trialsandtribulation.com. And he's got, I don't know if he's got these baseball jerseys. This is one of my favorites. I know he has some flannel cutoffs, some crew neck sweatshirts, and some really awesome and authentic pieces for the fall season. It's still summer here. It's like summer year round here. So a lot of those items don't really apply to myself. And then, of course, Farm Sushi, we just launched last Friday. So we're a little over a week old. Head to farmsushi.com. Get yourself the highest quality of meat and organ products delivered straight to your door. We are working with a cattle ranch in the state of Montana that has been on their homestead for over 100 years. So 100 years means absolute quality assurance. It's all grass-fed, sprout finished, pasture raised, no hormones, no antibiotics ever. Delivered straight to your door. We have organ meats, liver, kidney. We have heart, tongue. We have all the tomahawk steaks in the world that you could think of, all the ribeyes, the ground meat, and we are actually going to be offering an ancestral blend, which is really cool because those who do not like eating liver, either raw and or by itself, it's going to be a blend between grass-fed, sprout-finished beef with a little bit of liver in it. So you won't even be able to taste the liver.
Best beef in the market.
Best beef, baby. So with that being said, we're going to hop right into today's podcast with the special guest, Chris Nishoff. I wanted to get him on here. We've been behind the scenes for quite some time now, and finally, are we looking now into the seed of fruition of our dreams that we've really set into place a little over a year ago. And so
it has been a while.
You just drove down, moved here from Montana, and we are going to be launching Saunacle Customs, which initially the first phase will be us building cold plunges. And you've seen us doing the cold plunging, the breath work every single Sunday at my house. I've been traveling all over the place for it. And now we're finally going to be building fully generated, self-genned, that's what we call them, self-genned cold plunges with filtration systems. Chris, how do you feel about being down here and talk about, the mindset that you had to really step into to make that change and move from Montana to here?
Well, we'll back up a little bit. It was about March-ish that I was here last that I came down, and, Josh had already built one tub by himself, and we wanted to get another one built, just get me down here and affiliated with Saunacles and just really start building. And that's what I did. And I was like, you know what? This is really what I want to do. The energy's different down in the area. And, I told myself, I'm going to move here. And I just stuck with that, and I didn't let it go, no matter all the BS and the different routes that tried to come in front of me and change my course. But then at the same time, there were so many other things that kept me aligned with my course and what I wanted to do and what I seen. So, yeah, she gave it 5 months, and now I'm finally down here. I just arrived last week, which is
a little bit different country than Montana.
Oh, way different. Yeah. It was only like 115 this week.
Yeah, a little different.
Honestly, it's not that bad. I thought it was going to be a lot more toasty, but
I think it's one of those situations where I feel a lot of people try to intimidate you because they're like, oh man, it's so hot for so long, and then they get pissed off about the heat.
For real. Well, we also came from the dry heat, so it's dry heat down here.
It's the same thing. It's just shit. I've seen some Montana weather getting up to the hundreds.
Oh yeah, this year alone has been probably one of the hotter seasons around.
So besides the weather, obviously, I think that's something that has always driven me and attracted me to this area, because I know you particularly are involved in mountain sports. You really love snowboarding, backcountry skiing in the middle of the winter, snowmobiling, etc.
Absolutely.
I'm really not involved in a lot of that stuff. I think it's great every now and then, but it's not like my purpose, my passion. And so for me, I looked at Montana very seasonally in terms of business and business progress. And I felt, and maybe you can agree or disagree with me on this, is I felt that in some of the winter months, which is like almost like 3/4 of the year in Montana,
Yeah.
the state really slows down in terms of like business.
Oh, 100%. Just not only that, just the health and wellness market
Right,
alone.
right.
You know, it's more of a catered seasonal thing back in Montana. You know, 6 months of the year, everybody wants to be healthy and dandy. And, well, at the same time, that's really all much sun we get. So,
Right.
You know, coming down south and trying to cater to the 365,
Right.
you know, full year-round sun
Right.
goes a long ways for what we want to do. You know, we're trying to cater to the health and wellness industry with our cold plunges and eventually Saunacles.
Right.
But I feel like the heat may or may not, you know, drive some more people in wanting to do cold plunges in a way when
For
it's
sure.
already hot outside.
Right.
I don't see a lot of people trying to do ice baths in 32
Yeah,
degree
except
weather
for us,
outside.
we will be.
Except
Yeah,
for us.
this winter for sure.
Yeah, I'm actually stoked to be sitting on a pile of snow and then stepping in some ice.
That'd be cool.
and
yeah.
then jumping in the sauna.
Yeah.
You know.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, no, I can't wait for that, honestly.
The sun moves people, man, and I saw that when I first came down in 2012 on a wrestling scholarship on Arizona State. I came down here and I said, "Man, things are just different down here. Not that they're better, they're just different." And
No, the energy down
it
here
is
way
different.
different.
It's way different.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was just talking to my sister yesterday about this, and this is no disrespect to the state of Montana, is I feel like the state of Montana as a whole is fairly slow. And when you come down here, everybody is
just upbeat.
fast. Yeah.
Everything, in a way, is kind of behindish.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You
It's
know, people are moving their own speed. And,
Right.
I mean, Arizona is just absolutely different all
Right.
around.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was saying, 5 months ago, you know, I made the thought to finally make a decision and, you know, get my butt down here. And I couldn't tell you how many things that I ran into that tried to stop me amongst the process, you know, of me moving down here, which it being from, you know, different projects to work to, different financial situations to hanging out with my little girls to trying to see all my friends at the same time to getting my shit sold to getting out of my house to doing a little bit of couch surfing in between. But, you know, I kept the faith and I had the vision of where I wanted to be, and I finally made it happen. And
yes. So ultimately, talk about that a little bit, because obviously the viewers hear a lot of my vision and our vision, rather. I don't like to call it really my vision because it's our vision. And so with our vision, what really inspires you most, and what kept that faith that entire time with the trials and tribulations that you had and challenges to overcome to get yourself here? You know, what do you foresee in Saunacles and what we're building down here, and what are you excited for?
the health and wellness, being able to give people the chance and opportunity to experience what we're trying to offer, you know, in a sense of deliberate cold exposure, breath work, you know, eventually the sauna market. But you and me both, we've, you know, done our reading,
Right.
our research on all the deliberate cold exposure benefits and all the things that, you know, could help us in a way
Right.
if we were to, you know,
Right.
be doing cold plunges and whatnot. But what I see is being able to, you know, have people experience what we're offering.
Right.
And, you know, let them more or less see the experience for themselves. You know, because not everyone's going to most people don't want to get into ice baths at all. But,
That's a fact.
you know, it has been proven to this day that there are, you know, multiple benefits
Right.
to doing so. And, you know, it'd be nice to get more people outside of their comfort zone and into the ice water just to get them to experience the fact and,
Good
you
point.
know, the, what's the word for it?
Yeah, I
Like
think
the euphoria feeling
right,
almost.
right. Instead of being, because here is how I feel about the deliberate cold exposure. Well, with anything when it comes to health and wellness is you can be told anything, but until you experience it, you really don't know.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there's all, you know, sorts of talk with, you know, all the different things on the market and, you know, different things that people are trying to get out there. But what we want to do essentially is, you know, just help people, you know,
Right.
get people to
Come try it.
Yeah, give it a damn try. You
Right.
know, it doesn't sound very fun, but honestly, at the end of it, you know, doing some breath work prior and, you know, taking those first steps into the ice bath can be scary almost in a way. Like, fuck this, I don't want to do this. Like, I've had my mind. I'm sure everybody's mind
I
has told them
absolutely have been
fuck
too. Yes.
off. But, you know, the feeling you get after, you know, sitting in 32-degree water for however long it may be for your personal self, whether that's 30 seconds to 3 minutes. But, you know, we all reach those different plateaus within our mind, and being able to, you know, get out and let go of the things that we can't hold on to, like sitting in an ice bath. It's not going to get any warmer.
It's going to be the same.
We just kind of got to deal with it. But, you know, those are, you know, mind fortitudes that we can grow. And also, you know, learn from ourselves, being able to withstand the elements in a way, and, you know, put ourselves in different situations that we are uncomfortable with that, you know, essentially just make us grow in the end.
Absolutely. And I've said this time and time again, and if regardless of the clinical data, the studies, the research, everything that proves and points to the benefits and the overwhelming proof that deliberate cold exposure is very vital for your health and has a lot of great benefits, and at the end of the day, if none of that was true, all I know is when I get in and when I get out, I feel better.
Exactly.
And so if it's placebo or not placebo or whatever the situation is, I know it's not because it's been backed by data. But regardless of that, if it's not, all I know is that when I get into when I do deliberate cold exposure, and when I get out, I just feel better.
Yeah. So there's just no arguing.
Sometimes in life, I don't require the facts and the figures. I don't require the double-blind placebo studies. I don't require the hard evidence and the science behind it. I don't require that.
You just know how your body feels when you're done.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, let's really go back in time. When there wasn't scientists, and when there wasn't double-blind placebo studies, and when there wasn't any of this stuff, controlled data and uncontrolled data, whatever the situation is, people operated by what made them feel good. So our ancestors, when they weren't getting into fucking ice baths, they were getting into the cold lakes, the cold waters, the cold streams. They were going into the cold oceans. I mean, they definitely, I mean, this isn't just us. We didn't start figuring this stuff out. I mean, people in Finland, the Nordics, I mean, all these people have been using deliberate cold exposure within their cultures for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and maybe even more.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so like back then, it was like such a trial and error process. Like, man, if we went and did this and this made us feel better, then as a tribe, we're going to continually do this and start to add this to our daily regimen.
100%.
And so, like, for me, I go back into that tribal sense of saying, regardless of all the new age data that's coming out, because I've made this comment before and I think it's really beautiful, is I got into this spectrum about 3.5 years ago. And 3.5 years ago, it was really like that wooey gooey hippy dippy like modality of saying, oh, ice bath, you do the breath work. Like, ooh, it's one of those modalities that may or may not work.
Yeah.
And then now what I've seen is a convergence between the science community as well as the hippy dippy community, where what's being practiced and the modalities that are being practiced are now being met with actual data.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's cool to see, but I don't need that shit. All I require is my body telling me, hey, when I do this and I get in and I get out, I just feel better.
Right.
So even I want them actually, I mean, because I think this would be a really good moment of honesty for yourself. When you came down in March, there was a couple situations that were not alarming, but there was a couple situations that were not rare either. That's not the word I'm looking for. You had you felt some different things happen.
Okay, yeah, I'd be glad to speak about that.
Speak about that and like moving forward, you know, what you feel has been the progression.
Yeah, absolutely. So what happened with me personally was I hadn't really taken many ice baths in the future or prior to us starting any of this, really. You know, I've taken my cold showers, but, you know, cold showers aren't going to hit, you know,
not
near
even
30 degrees.
Right.
Let's just be real. But then I've also, you know, done a handful of alpine lake plunges, you know, just mess around in the middle of the mountains with your friends. Other than that, I think the first time I actually did like a legit ice bath was when I was here in Arizona.
Okay.
But so when we were first, when I was first experiencing the cold, I felt like I may have pushed myself a little bit too long. And with that being said, I felt like I, got some headaches from the fact. But what it came down to, what the research and stuff that I did was my body hadn't
Acclimated.
Acclimated and adjusted to the cold as as good as I thought it did. So my body was more or less just telling me that I was, in hypothermia in a way. Mm-hmm. My body was just too cold. That it didn't have enough brown fat on my body to keep me warm in a sense. So my next couple tries, I was still trying to hit, a couple minute marker. I still got the same effects, euphoria highs, but then like 20, 30 minutes later, I would just acquire this like gnarly headache, and I couldn't figure out why, and then my time here in Arizona had ended, and I went back home and I thought about it a lot. I was like, what's going on? Why could this be happening? I started taking more cold showers, trying to get my body used to the cold more and more and more. And then I come down here to do another one, and I did, I want to say just 2 minutes, but I wasn't trying to hit the factor of, I need to do 3 minutes in the ice bath.
Right.
Whenever my time is done in the ice bath, I'm just going to be done. I'm not trying to push myself
to beat the clock.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not trying to push myself to great lengths. There's no really race, but it's for my personal wellness in a way.
Right. As time went on and you started to get into the plunge more and more and not try to beat the time clock, do you feel that definitely helped your situation?
Yeah, so when I let go of the fact that I was just trying to sit in the tub for a desired amount of time and just, let my body take in what it needed until my body told me that, it was enough.
It's almost like your own alarm clock.
Yeah, exactly. You and me have been speaking, try to break through 2 walls.
Right.
2 personal walls, and then really after that, it's all about yourself.
Yep.
But I felt like me taking my time and working my body and up to the fact of, being able to handle the cold and being used to it definitely helped me more. And this last time that I was here, I actually didn't experience any headaches at all. But at the same time, I wasn't in the ice bath as long. But, at the end of the day, I'm not trying to just...
we're not winning any records.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm not trying to, win any world records for sure.
And that's something that Andrew Huberman, he's a neuroscientist from Stanford University, and that's what I received from him, and that's how I started to learn about. He calls them walls to overcoming the walls. And so instead of trying to beat the time clock every single time that you're in there, I need to go 2 minutes, I need to go 3 minutes, I need to go 4, I need to go 5, is that set and setting is going to play a major factor and role in how you feel, number one, going into it, and number two, while you're in it. I'll be completely honest. I mean, I have one in my garage, and this has been something I've been doing for the last 5 or 6 months consistently. And various times of the day, I have various responses within myself and my body. That's number one. And various times of the day, I have various responses in my body before I get in, and then various responses in my body whilst I'm in.
Right.
Depending on set and setting, where I'm at, how much food I've eaten, how much I've slept, what time of the day it is, how warm it is outside, how active I've been, etc. I mean, so there's so many different factors that are involved in it, that beating the time clock is not necessarily the answer to getting the most out of deliberate cold exposure.
You probably just fall into a state of where it's the most personal for your own self.
Right.
Like, it's all about you. There ain't nobody else that gives a fuck about what you're doing other than your own mind. You're in the tub, just you, yourself, and I. And you can either sit in that tub and, climb those walls, or you can get out and fall down, or, I mean, it's really all a learning experience.
Right.
It's there for you. It's personally,
Yeah.
on all levels, realistically.
And I think I know sometimes for me specifically, as I don't want to say I'm a master now because I'm nowhere near a master. I've just been doing it and I have some proficiency of I've done it so much, is I don't want to continually have to push the envelope of danger for me to get the benefit out of it.
Exactly.
And so for me, it's like, I understand that there's different ways that I can manipulate the variables. Either I'm going early in the morning, right when I wake up, or before I go to bed, or if I'm fasted, or whatever the situation is, where I don't have to continually push the variable of danger, because there's really there's no need for me to be in there 10 or 20 minutes. When the benefit happens in the first 3,
Right.
Anything after 3 to 5 then becomes a mental fortitude situation and builds mental resilience. But all the health and physiological benefits happens within the first 3 minutes.
Exactly.
And so for me, it's getting out of my own ego and saying, okay, like, this isn't about punching the time clock of like how many repetitions can I do like I'm at the gym, or what my PR can be at the gym. This is more or less like what you're saying, is getting
This is where my body's at.
yeah,
right
exactly.
now.
How my body feels, how I'm feeling today, because there's definitely times when I'm doing this, especially at 6 in the morning or 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, I'm sure.
I've done it at 4 in the mormorning. When I get up, and every part of my body says, "Fuck no,
way.
do not go in that water." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we were doing plunges at 4 a.m. when I was in Montana, and I do them on my own. And I tell you what, man, I'm a lot more motivated when I got the boys with me at 4 a.m. than when I'm by myself waking up on a Tuesday at 5:30 or 6 a.m. staring at the cold water in my garage when it's still dark outside.
Come here.
Yeah, I tell you what. So, but the point of that is that you don't. I'm not always incredibly enthused to do a cannonball into the cold water.
No.
And you don't have to be, and that's okay. But when you start to understand that internal dialogue, because that's where Huberman really breaks it down in terms of neurochemistry, which is great, because the same fight or flight response that you get when you get into the water, you're actually experiencing that before you get into the water. It's the thoughts of I don't know, I don't know, I don't
Now
want
what?
to. And it's like, yes, now what? Are you going to overcome that? And that overcome process allows you to attune into your body, really check in instead of being checked out, and then say, okay, now you can overcome this fight or flight response, which builds resilience. I mean, this is what builds stress resilience. This is what builds mental fortitude. I mean, and so that's so very powerful and healthy, but you don't have to like push the envelope of yo, I need to go 20 or 30 minutes. Like, you know, like Wim Hof. He's just, that dude's a freak. Let Wim do what Wim does, you know?
Exactly.
I'm cool with 90 seconds or 3 minutes.
Right.
So it's one of those situations where it's been a learning process for me, and I'm really looking forward. We have only a couple minutes here left, but and we'll end up doing a few more podcasts. I wanted to really get Chris on here just to show your face, introduce.
Yeah, first time podcast ever.
Yeah, it's awesome. How was your experience?
I felt a little jumbled on the words, but
Yeah.
I mean, that is what it is.
It is what it is, man. Yeah,
So-
you know, time, repetition, anything else. Chris is an exceptional. He's really good with construction. He's a builder, and so I'm really looking forward for a beautiful team effort here to really build these
100%.
plunges. And obviously, I'm the marketing guy, the media guy, and
He's good at the social media stuff, and I just build stuff.
It's good. we have to have a team of sorts to be able to, you know, teamwork makes the dream work, and I'm really, really grateful for you to be down here, Chris. And where can they find you on social media? I know you're not a social media guy, but where can they find you on
I'm not
Instagram?
super huge on social media, but that doesn't mean that can't change.
That's right.
So my social, I usually just do Instagram and Facebook,
Yep.
a little bit of Snapchat, but it's _adventuring_nish, NISH.
Sweet. So you find him at _adventuring_nish, and be sure to like, subscribe to this podcast, comment below if you found some value. It's completely free to share this with your friends and family, and it's completely free to subscribe to my channel. For the next 100 followers, I'm giving away $100 to one lucky follower. So you have a 1% chance of winning $100, and I'm going to continually do this all the way up to 1,000 subscribers. This month, I have a lot of podcasts in the works, so if you enjoy these one-on-one podcasts and you know somebody that is deserving enough to be able to sit down and have this, And when I say deserving enough, that just comes with esteem. So if you have a great story, if you have a good story and you have something to really bring a value to people, I would love to have you on this podcast. And with that being said, we will see you next time on More in the Know. Peace out.